Okay guys, one last update before the tutorial on these batteries not included, mother and father. Here we see a set of, there's three sets of mother and father, and I think one extra of mother. But this took a lot of work, weeks of full-time work getting these guys molded, top and bottom. And let's go ahead and have a look at these parts. Here is your first look at the official finished father robot from Batteries Not Included. The parts will ship as unprimered pieces, but as you can see, it's when it's white, it's very washed out. So I primered these so you can see the detail. So here we have the body bottom, the body top. These are both cast inside and out. You can see there's internal structure, and when I do my tutorial, you'll see why we need these structures here. They're magnetic locks. They're locking mechanisms for top and bottom. It allows you access inside for electronics. The internal structure, I'll show you how that goes together. This bottom detail piece, this is a resin 3D piece each time, so it's nice, perfectly made piece. Room in there for electronics. He is going to live right here in this opening, and you can see if I can flip this upside down, there is a lot of room in here for electronics. Battery packs, wiring, LEDs, SMDs, whatever you want to do. We have the lens that lives there in the middle of that, clear cast. 3 antenna. I'll show you how those go on. These are 2 side antenna. This is a rear piece antenna. You can see there's a little notch right there that corresponds with that guy, so he just lives perfectly right there. This antenna array structure, 3D, resin 3D printed, just so you can get that clarity. And he's got a lock, he's got a pin right here that corresponds. It only goes on one way. This cap only goes on one way also, and you'll see how that works during the tutorial. We've got 2 eyelids, 2 tinted eyeballs. These guys fit in really nice like that, allowing you to light that up. The eye frames. These guys, you'll see that there's notches here. Very well engineered kit. This just slides right into those notches, bam, just like that, and very easy to assemble. This is a detail piece for the eye frames, and if I can get this turned around, you'll be able to see that there are 2 rectangular pins that correspond to these 2 pins, and he just pops on like this. We have the internal frame. During the tutorial, you'll see why these are notched the way they are, because this guy fits right into those 2 tabs here and into that rear tab. So bam, there is your internal structure. And then part of that internal engineering is this piece. This is going to be an optional mount for mounting through the center here, and then magnetic locking pins here. These fit standard Amazon square magnets. I'll put a link to that in my website so you know what exact size to get. And there is the father set of kit parts. These are completely untrimmed. Your parts will arrive just like this in the box. Let's have a look at the mother. Here is the mother. Top half, bottom half. 4 of these lenses, etched lenses, I'll show you those in a second. We have 2 clear cast eyes, tinted blue. Quality of these is amazing. 2 eyelids. We have an internal frame, structure frame. 3 antenna, rear and 2 sides. This bottom cap piece. This is a 3D printed part, so you're able to light that and see the lights through those holes, those perforations. clear lens lives there. And instead of all those pins that we saw on the Dad, this one's a little more simplified. There's only 4 of these medium-sized pins. Again, they fit basic earth magnets. Again, these are molded top and bottom. A lot of structure that I'll show you why we need all that structure. I'm going to grab these 4 pins. I'm going to flip this top upside down, and this laser cut frame lives here. These 4 tabs live in these openings. You can see there is a hexagonal shape there. These are engineered to fit into those. Magnets go into those 4 things. So imagine that we've got magnets popping out there. Those correspond to these 4 square magnet holes. These 2 pins that you notice, there's these 2 pins. Those are registration pins for this hole and that hole. So we will put that together. Actually, before that goes on, we have this bottom cap piece and its clear lens. I'm not going to glue that just yet, but this fits in from underneath. This is an untrimmed piece. I still need it. This needs to be trimmed a little bit so this fits a little deeper. But that gives you the idea there that that lives here. Okay, and then we just go ahead and match up these 2 pins to those 2 holes. Pop him in there. Okay, so that frame is secure inside here. And there is your basic shape. If you can imagine that lower piece is the perforated pieces here. So yeah, this is untrimmed. There's going to be some trimming necessary to get these edges to meet just right. Maybe a little bit of Bondo filling. There's a really unique notch that's right here, so you'll have to get a Dremel out with the cutoff wheel and make that little notch so he sits in place. But this is just an untrimmed piece. Again, this is not for a beginning modeler because you'll need to do a little bit of trimming and adjusting. Okay, antennas. This isn't trimmed off yet, but this rear antenna lives back here, the fat stubby guy. And then your 2 side antenna. These are identical left and right, and they slide in like that. They kind of aim downwards. On the eyes, you'll see these 2 square shapes. Those correspond to these shapes on the resin printed eyelids. So this to this, it just fits right in there, so you can't mistake the positioning. So here, those would glue in. This took a lot of renditions to get this color right and to get the translucency right, because there's a lot of resin there. I barely had to use any tint to get that eye to look right. Hey, I'll just do one of these, but here you can see that eye. Lots of room inside to insert your LEDs. You can put a spinning LED on that, so all of those perforations are illuminated. Let me show you these lenses. There's 4 of these in the kit. 1/8 inch laser etched and cut lenses. So just peel off that backing. You've got this clear piece. And they live in this opening, that opening. I didn't knock these out yet, there and there. And this will let green light. There's green LEDs that will be behind this. So there's little windows there for your green LED. A rough assembly on the father will look something like this. These 2 tall pins will glue to this inside frame. You'll glue 2 magnets into these spaces, and then these 2 shorter ones do the same thing here and here. And you can see that the inside of the hat has 3 locator pins. 1, 2, 3. And that's where these guys live. These are location pins. Okay, and they'll do something like that. So this only will go together one way. And if you can imagine, when that's all assembled, this slides into place. We've got these locator pins that are going down through this into these 4 tabs. These will have corresponding magnets. So basically this frame holds itself in place. The cap, because of these 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, will only go on one way, like so. The antenna, because of this locking shape, only goes on one way, so this is exactly how this goes together. You're not going to be able to see it, but I showed you earlier, this little bottom cap lives right here. Okay, so this is the rough assembly without the eyepiece. The rear antenna, I showed you a little earlier, lives back here. The 2 side antenna, there's a separate left and right, and those locate here into this pin. And let me assemble this eye the best I can without glue. So your 2 clear parts go into the eyelids. You can see that there is a tab here on each eyeball that corresponds to that opening. Boom. Second eye. Kaboom. Eye frame. Easily locks in with those 2 pins. Bam. There's your eye assembly. And if I can manage to hold these pieces together without anything falling. Okay, and there's your face. Both the mother and the father come with this medallion, and you might be wondering what that is for. If you wanted to mount this directly from the bottom up through the lens, this is engineered to fit dead center in this model. Just line up these 3 holes, and that right there is dead center of each of the mother and father. So a rod will come up through the center and just connect onto that. You've got a hole if you wanted to put wiring through the rod. You've got a hole in that center. There you go. One more thing for this video. Sorry for the length of this. I thought this would be a 3 or 4 minute long video, but boy, it's going on. I thought I would include an overview of some of the electronic components I plan on using during my tutorial. And this is for you guys that already have the parts and are kind of going to wait for my tutorial to come out. So here is the main component that I plan on using to light these 2 models. This is from Amazon. I'll provide a link for this in my website. Minot. This is an LED light kit. It's an LED strip, and it's programmable. I reviewed this kit in detail in my ET Phone Home 1 Starship video, so I'll probably put a link for that in the video description. But essentially what this is a completely programmable LED strip. It is a light chaser. It does light patterns, and you don't have to do any kind of outside programming. It's all contained in the onboard chip. And this is your little control panel here. So showing on the screen now is some of the features of this guy. It does chases, it does back and forth chases, it does loops, different colors, different patterns, and you program the colors and patterns on this little board right here. There's 3 buttons, 3 little micro buttons. They control pattern, speed, and color. The cool thing about this product is not only is it programmable for patterns, speed, and color, you can also cut it down to a custom length. So this is the mother bottom pan, and I cut that strip. I'm not sure how many feet this is. I think this is something like 3 feet of LED tape. I cut it down to about, I don't know, this is probably about 10 inches, maybe 12 inches. That turned into a circle and inserted into that dish, maybe just a little bit above that dish. Gives you a light chasing effect, like so. Here's your light chaser. And then when inside this guy, it's going to give you that turning light effect. Really cool, really inexpensive. This is only, I think, $17 or $18 on Amazon. And that is what you're going to see me use on these two kits. Okay, so there is that. Outside of that, you'll need 5mm LEDs for the lights. You can do it with 3mm. I bought a package, like this whole thing, I think is, how many is this? 20. So this is 20 5mm LEDs. It's something like $10, I think, on Amazon. So that'll be for lights, eye lights. These are 30 pieces of pre-wired LEDs. This means you do not have to worry about soldering in resistors into these guys. These are 3mm pre-wired. This package of 30 was something like $8 or $9 on Amazon. And then I do plan on using these tiny little, I'm not sure, they're LEDs. They're more like Pico chips. These are little micro guys. There's your LED right there. These would be great for putting on the antenna, on those side antenna that you see lit up for mom and dad. These little dudes right here. This package, $7 on Amazon. And then if you wanted to go into fiber optic, the tiny little pin lights that you see in both of the mom and dad, forgot what millimeter this is, but these are fiber. This bundle is enough probably to do both mom and dad. This bundle, I think, was $11 or $12 on Amazon. This little guy that you've been seeing me hold, this is a freebie. You can 3D print this at home. I designed this to fit a 5mm LED. And then you've got an opening on this end for inserting bundles of fiber optics. Okay, so there you go. You would put in a bundle. This would probably take a bundle of maybe 20. So you'd have 20 points of light estimated out of this contraption here with the 5mm inserted and your fiber bundles inserted into that. So that's going to give you all those tiny little micro window lights. And that is my overview of some of the electronics I'll be using in this kit. And that is it for this KNOLLING video on the batteries not included mother and father, with a little overview of basic assembly and electronics. Really happy this is finally done. Kits are shipping now. Make sure you like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and I plan on shooting a tutorial on this when I have a minute to breathe. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video.